when you say that about a doll line, that's when it gets a little scary. Hello, it is the Doll Circle. We are here and we're doing something different. So I on Instagram, yes, my phone is here floating on my little stand, was like, hey, I want to do videos that you guys want to see. And then I was like, oh, I haven't done a Q&A video in like, oh, I don't know, a century. So I am now staring at questions and topics that all of you wanted me to touch on, and I am going to do that in this video. Some of the other videos that you requested, I need to do some more research on. I want to be more planned. It was like things like super in depth of like, you know, how do I see the future of certain doll lines, things like that, which I can graze over today, but I'm definitely going to deep dive more into those type of topics because I love to talk. So today I wanted, like I said, I'm just going to randomly, not in any particular order, go over some of the questions that all of you have asked. So I'm going to do that first. And I think the best one, the first one here is, are you tired of being a doll collector? I'm not tired, I feel overwhelmed. And I recently posted a video called, are you suffering from doll anxiety? Because I feel like that's seriously a thing, especially as a collector, you can feel very overwhelmed at times. And I am feeling overwhelmed right now because we are no longer in the abysmal sad times of like, ew, just blind box / surprise toy era. We are now in every doll that you can imagine is coming out, and they're coming out so fast. So I think it's not really that I'm tired of being a doll collector. I think it's more that I'm just overwhelmed, not only as a doll collector, but as a content creator for dolls, that there is just so much coming out. It's hard to keep up with and I'm drowning. And if you want to see me dive more into that, definitely watch my Are you suffering for doll anxiety video, because that video really, I tried breaking it down into a few different sections of how I felt. And I just, yeah, so I'm not tired of collecting dolls. I don't ever see myself not owning dolls. Like, I'd have to be in a really dark place to not own dolls, because I feel like dolls have always been there for me. Even when I wasn't heavily collecting, I still would always look at dolls. So I feel like, yeah, I'm not tired of it. It's just a lot's coming out because there's a lot of dolls right now. 2023 is the year of, hey, you thought you had money? Well, you don't if you're a doll collector, because that's how I feel right now. It's just so many dolls coming out. One of the other questions I got was, do you collect Bratz? I'm like, I don't know how to describe it. I've had an up and down relationship with Bratz. When the Bratz first came out back in the early 2000s, I was a Barbie girl. My mom and I only collected Barbies. Like, I saw Bratz in the aisles at the time, but we were like, ew, we're here to doll hunt Barbies, like, you know? And it's not that I disliked them. I was just so focused on Barbie that I would walk past them and be like, oh, I don't have time for you. Then 2015 hit and they did the reboot, which I did get some flack where people were like, oh, you're not a real Bratz collector. Like, how dare you? You know, you only like the 2015 because of the reboot, and, you know, they're ugly, da, 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 da. And I liked them. I still like them. I thought they were fun. They were ridiculous looking because they had emojis all over them. So it was really a telling of the time. But people still hate them. And it's okay, because you're allowed to dislike dolls. Like, you're allowed to sort of like dislike and like certain brands. Now, a lot of the Bratz coming out now, which are ones like giving homage to the older ones, I haven't been getting into. I have a few of the Rock Angel dolls because they were gifted to me and I like those. But outside of that, unless Bratz comes back with something that really wows me, I am not really buying them. I've slowed down, but I don't hate them. I just am not heavily into like, oh my gosh, that Bratz, I have to go get that Bratz, because there's really nothing new. It's just them putting out old stuff again, which maybe if they did something like with the 2015 where they're like, we're revamping, or giving us, which I really did like, the Creative Bratz thing where you would go to Target, pick the doll, pick the outfit pieces, and then they would put it all together in a box for you. I loved that. I have 2 of those, and honestly, that was like so game changing for me. I was like, why aren't more brands doing this? I probably cost them a lot of money, but I loved that. So not that I'm not collecting them, I'm just, they're not on my radar right now. I'm gonna touch on, this is not a question, I'm just basically responding to a question, I guess. I don't respond to a comment. I saw a lot of people saying collection tour. I have been working on that video probably the past 5 years. So I used to do collection tours in the past, early on when I first started, when I had my collection kind of more like, okay, this was all Little Mermaid, this is all Sailor Moon, this is all Barbie, you know. My collection now is so crazy that I don't even know where to begin. I started shooting footage for it over 2 years ago when I was blonde. So I'm looking at the footage and I'm like, this is so old, you know? Like, do people even want to see this old footage of me changing around the walls? And then I'm on Whatnot now, so I've been selling a lot of dolls on there, like auction-based things. So if you're interested, please do check that in the description below, because I'm constantly selling dolls on there. For me, it's been a wave of up and down. I've changed the collection. I've changed the walls. I've gotten different doll houses. So I'm constantly going through an evolution, and I constantly tell myself, like, oh, once it's complete, once it is how I want to show it, I will reveal it. And no, it's just not ready. And I feel like I don't know if it'll ever be ready, and I feel bad because I constantly am like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I never film it, or then I start filming it and I have pieces of me working on the room and it's just not enough footage to put together, and then yeah, it's a lot. And I'm the type of person, so unless it looks really good, I don't want to really put a video out showing any of the collection, because it's just like, it's not where I want it to be, and it's, yeah. So one day, maybe. One of the other questions I got was, what are some of your holy grail dolls? And I have probably, it's hard. It is hard, because I've been a collector, like I said, my whole life, so it's like, there's been so many dolls over the years where I'm like, oh, I should have bought that, I regret it, now it's going for like $1,000, I'll never own that. So I have probably, like, just off the top of my head, maybe like 5 or 6 items that I'm like, oh, I would love that. So I really love, obviously I love Halloween, gothic, haunted, creepy type of things. And when Barbie did all of their like haunted, spooky dolls, I didn't buy them. My mom did. My mom got the Zombie Bride, and I regret that day because I remember she ordered it and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna order one. I'll save the money, and now all of those dolls are worth so much money. I mean, the beautiful vampire with the red outfit. I love the one with the candelabra and the purple gown. I mean, these dolls were just so, like beyond a chef's kiss. Like, Michelin star, amazing, I love it. Like, and those dolls are definitely on my list, but unless I find them really inexpensive, I just don't see myself, or I win the lottery, because if I win the lottery, watch out. I don't see myself buying them because I just can't justify spending $1,200 for some of these dolls. But if I find them in the wild, or, which I highly doubt I'll find that at a thrift store, those dolls are definitely on my list. I want all of them. I think they're all stunning. Barbie, why do you not do that more? Like, those were just iconic dolls. Love those dolls. Love it. Because I feel like it's giving you high-end collector Barbie with really cool spooky elements, but done very beautifully and elegantly. Oh, done. Love those. There's also, which I regret because I saw it when I was in Japan and I didn't buy it because it was big and I didn't know how I was going to get it back to my house, which was a trip. That was a trip when we went to Japan to buy Sailor Moon stuff. And there's this, if I find a picture, I'll post it here, where it's like a music box that, cause it's from the show, and it like opens up and you have like Sailor Moon and she dances around, and it's like probably with a magnet. And I remember seeing it there and I want to say it was under $100 and I didn't get it. And now I see it online, like if you can find it online, $800, $1,000. I'm just like, yeah, no. Like, not happening. Sorry. I mean, there's so many other pieces that over the years I've been like, oh, I regret not getting that. Or dolls that I'm like, oh, I would love to own that one day. But I guess those right now, I guess, are my kind of like, oh, if I ever see those for a really good price, they're coming home with me. But there's a lot of other dolls that I love. Like, I love a lot of 80s nostalgic stuff. So I'm always looking for like 80s dolls that I either owned, or 80s dolls that just really, I look at them like, oh my God, this is such a sign of the times. Like, we were randomly looking at, what was it last night? Peppermint Rose. Any of you that remember those dolls? And they're like $150. I'm like, okay, you know what? Evidently all my Holy Grail stuff is way too expensive. And I feel like Holy Grail items are. I feel like that's when you think of something, you're like, oh, I would love to own that. You would already own it if it was an affordable price. But if it's out of the price range, you're like, no. And there's a lot of other Barbies that, like, I love all the jazzy dolls. Like, I love all the maxi dolls. Like, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, they're not Holy Grails, but dolls that I would really love, but only if I can get them for a good price. Like, I don't see myself owning these dolls and paying that much unless I do win the lottery. And then watch out, because I'll be like Oprah up in here, just handing out dolls to everybody. If I win the lottery, giveaway century here. Like, everybody gets a doll. Everyone gets... I got an interesting question of someone. It was just simple. It says, the future of Rainbow High. You know, it's funny. It's like we're in such a great era of dolls right now because so many dolls are coming out. So much is coming out, right? Like, I mean, from OMGs to, you know, Rainbow High to Barbies every day. There's like, you know, my first Barbie thing is like they're trying to change up Barbie, and so there's so much coming out. Illy dolls, I don't even know, right? Disney now getting bought or getting transferred over to Mattel. I don't know. I would love to think that Rainbow High has the longevity to last a decade like Monster High and some of these other great doll lines, and like Barbie obviously has lasted a million years. I don't know. And I'm saying this, and it's as someone who loves Rainbow High, because I've been saying on here a lot, I'm selling dolls to just refuel other dolls, and I hate to say it, like I'm buying a lot of Rainbow High stuff right now, and there's just so much coming out, and I'm not alone on this, because I feel like, especially with Series 5 coming out, there's just so much Rainbow High product getting shoved at us that we're so overwhelmed that I've talked to a few of my friends, and they're like, oh, I've stopped buying a lot of them because there's just too many. That is when a line becomes a little frightful, right? Monster High got to that point at one place where it was just every week I was at Toys R Us and there was another Monster High doll coming out. And for a while there, I was like, I need to stop buying these because I literally need to buy food, and you want to keep up with it, but it's just overwhelming. So what scares me with Rainbow High is that we've only had it for a short period of time and people are already starting to say, wow, there's so much coming out. When you say that about a doll line, that's when it gets a little scary. Because for Monster High, we didn't really start saying that until a few years in, where we're like, oh gosh, like Scarus, this and that, and da 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 da, and 20 different, Frankies, and da 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 da, It took a while for us to say that. And with Rainbow High, I feel like we're already saying it, and we're only about 2.5 years in, going on the 3rd year, and it's just like, wow, there's a lot of dolls. Like every episode, they're like, oh look, 3 new characters, 5 new characters, and you're just like, too much. I hope it lasts a decade. I hope it lasts forever. I really love them. I have so many of them. But when we're starting to feel that feeling already, that's when it gets scary. So we'll see. And I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want to make this video too long. And honestly, I'm going to save a lot of your questions to create longer videos out of them. This one I'm going to touch on, but I'm going to do a full video on. I was already planning on this, so it's kind of funny that you actually brought it up as a question. They say Monster High Gen 3 and your thoughts on how successful it has been and will continue to be. So it's hard because obviously I started this channel collecting Monster High. Some of my early videos are literally me going to Kmart and hunting for Monster High dolls. And I love the success that Monster High G3 is currently having. I feel like so many people are talking about it. Every time I'm on my phone, it's another leak of another doll from Monster High G3. So I think it's going well if they're pumping out this much. And I think they knew it was going to do well because they have so much planned for this year. Like, 2022, we had a little trickle, and now in 2023, it's like every day there's a new Monster High G3 leak. So I think they were kind of going like, the fans are there. They're going to want it. They're going to buy it. How long can they ride that though? That's my concern, is how long can they ride the fans are still buying it. Especially now with some of them, with some of the newer leaks, a couple people, I'm looking at the comments and I'm seeing some people going like, okay, like another Frankie doll, or okay, like why is Laguna wearing that? And I feel like we've always had critiques with a lot of dolls, whether it's Monster High or not. I just feel like now with so many doll options, everyone's being a lot more critical of where they're placing their money, what dolls they're buying. And that's what concerns me with G3, is that yes, Mattel's riding that horse of like, yeah, the fans are, Monster High, they just love Monster High no matter what. And we do. I do. I love Monster High forever. But how long can you ride that? And I'm going to show off a lot of the G3 dolls when I do this video and talk about it a little more in depth, but just kind of do an overview. That's what concerns me, is like, I don't want Mattel just to think that people who of the past will still love it and they're going to keep buying it. They have to really basically engage and get new fans to really love this generation to then keep it going. And I don't know if that's happening, because I already saw some Monster High stuff on clearance, and that's really fast to go on clearance, and that's scary because I love Monster High. So I hope they don't go away, but I just don't know if the longevity is there for new generation of collectors, and I hope they don't just hold on to the old ones over here, the OGs. I mean, I'm still here. I'm still buying Draculaura. I've just cut back and limited what I'm buying, but we'll see if Mattel can keep changing it up, keep it going, and throw out some more stuff this year that really will engage a newer audience. All right, until next time. This was actually a lot of fun. I like just sitting here and talking, as you can tell. So always hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. So if you want a certain topic or you think a topic would be really interesting to do a full-length video on, let me know. Like I said, I did screenshot and save all of them so I can use them for further research and make longer in-depth videos because I want to do that. And thank you for being with me for, I keep saying this is my birthday month for YouTube, 9 years on YouTube, and you're still here, some of you. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Make sure to check me out on everything from Whatnot, where I sell my dolls, TikTok, obviously on Instagram I'm always on, and then of course here on YouTube. I totally, like I said, sometimes it freaks me out where I'm like, oh God, it'll all go away. But honestly, you guys are still here 9 years later. So it means so much that everybody's here and everybody's so nice. So thank you so much. And I will hit up some of your other questions in other videos. Bye everybody.